Okay. Good morning, everyone. We'll just give it a few more moments. There are participants who continue to log into this webinar, so we'll just give it a few more seconds just to allow everyone in. Okay. Good morning and welcome to today's announcement. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Abigail Dancy and I'm with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, and I'm the moderator for our call. Before we get underway, I'd like to take a moment to provide a few housekeeping notes so that things go along smoothly. First, to all participants, please keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking, and this just helps us to minimize any background noise. Second, we will invite questions from the media at the end of the formal remarks. And to do this, we'll use the raise hand feature, which is found at the bottom of your Zoom window. You may have to hover your mouse pointer over the bottom of that window in order for the icon to appear, but it should be there. When it's time for your turn, I will announce your name, and I'll also ask you to unmute yourself. You'll see a message on your screen that will prompt you to unmute yourself. As always, if the media could please say your name and your outlet before asking your question, that would be great. We will allow for one follow-up question, please. And lastly, for the purposes of review, we will be recording this announcement starting now. Thank you very much, and we'll turn it over to Mr. Bill George, the Chair of the Ontario Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association, to begin the announcement.
Thanks, Abigail. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Bill George, and I have been asked to make some initial remarks for these proceedings. I'm a grape grower in the Niagara region and chair of the Ontario Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association. Our association represents over 3,500 farm families growing fruits and vegetables across the province of Ontario. With me is Honorable Ernie Hardeman, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, Quentin Wood, Chair of the Holland Marsh Growers Association, and Olga Paveluchuk, CEO of P&P Optica. Since the beginning of the pandemic, farmers have been working hard to ensure the safety of farm workers who are critical to maintaining farm operations and keeping local food available to consumers this year. Throughout this past year, industry has appreciated the ongoing partnership and support provided by the Ontario government, specifically the team at the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Rural Affairs. While farmers have worked quickly to adapt to the realities of the pandemic, the sector has faced unique challenges not experienced before. The sector remains steadfast in its efforts to protect farm workers and is looking forward identifying ways in which farms can evolve to increase worker safety while increasing farm productivity and efficiency through technological innovation. I would now like to invite Mr. Hardeman to come forward to speak to this issue further and the efforts being made to help farms adapt during these challenging times and further protect the health and safety of our farm workers moving forward. Minister?
Thank you very much, Bill, for the kind introduction and for being here today. And thank you everyone for being here today for this important announcement. I also want to thank Quentin Woods from the Holland Marsh Growers Association and Olga Paveluchuk from P&P Optica for joining me for this important announcement. As you know, farmers and agri-food businesses have worked and continue to work hard to protect their workers and our food supply during the COVID pandemic. They don't spare any effort to ensure this will be an excellent season with positive outcomes for them, their workers, and their operations. That's why our government wants to continue to support them in any way that we can. And we won't spare any effort either. We all understand the challenges COVID-19 and have a shared commitment to working together and using all the tools we can to keep our workers safe and healthy. Last week, I announced $10 million of funding for the Redesigned Enhanced Agri-Food Workplace Protection Program. These funds will continue to help and support farmers and other agri-food places in their efforts to stop the spread of the virus in the workplace. Today, our government is going one step further. I'm happy to announce that our government is investing in the adaptation of technological innovations in the agri-food sector that will enhance and protect the workers' health and wellness while also increasing the sector's efficiency and productivity. The new Agri-Food Prevention and Control Innovation Initiative, at $25.5 million initiative over 3 years, was mentioned in our provincial fall budget. The largest part of this announced important investment, the $22 million Agri-Tech Innovation Program, will fund the adaptation of advanced agri-food technology in the workplace. We're providing significant incentives for businesses to adopt these innovations that will modernize their workplaces and make a real difference. And when we designed the program, we made sure that the needs of both the large and small agri-food businesses will be taken into account. Before you could roll out this cost-shared programming, we asked agri-food sector organizations to create roadmaps that laid the foundation for their respective sectors. And I want to thank the many sector organizations that stepped up to the plate. Dairy Farmers of Ontario, Berry Growers of Ontario, Ontario Greenhouse Vegetable Growers, and the Grape Growers of Ontario just are some of the many organizations that have created their roadmaps. We provided up to $1.4 million for this exercise, which is wrapping up this month. And now we're ready to launch the second stage of the Agri-Tech Innovation Program. The Government of Ontario will be providing up to $22 million in funding to encourage adaptation of advanced technical that protects workers both in large and small agri-food businesses where the risk of COVID-19 transmissions are the highest. Under the program, we will be providing significant incentives under 2 streams. The first stream will encourage businesses to implement advanced technologies that are not widely adopted within the sector. For example, replacing manual asparagus harvesting with a semi-autonomous harvester. The next phase will support innovators or partnerships of innovators that want to be involved in piloting and assessing technological innovation, such as robotics, that will in turn be usable by the sector. Our goal is to support the adaptation of sector-specific innovation technologies that will enhance worker protection, increase efficiencies and productivity, and help build the sector's resilience. The tremendous possibilities that are coming up through this initiative are very exciting. And I'm enthusiastic about the opportunities it will also offer to tackle historical labor shortages in our agri-food industry. The intake for the first stream will open May the 17th, and more information on the launch of the second stream will be provided in the near future. I encourage as many farm and agri-food employers to consider technological innovation that could translate into meaningful improvements in the health and safety of their workers, efficiency, and productivity for their individual businesses, and the strength and resilience of the entire sector. And I want to thank you. And now I'll turn it over to Olga from P&P Optica to say a few words. PPO is a valid leader in spectroscopy technology that has amazing applications for the agri-food sector. And it's tech like theirs we're hoping to drive in agriculture. So with that, we'll turn it over to you, Olga.
Thank you, Minister Hardeman, for the kind introduction and for your support of the Ontario food and agriculture sector. Support from our government is one of the foundations of what makes Ontario and Canada such a wonderful place to live and build a business. As you mentioned, my name is Olga Pawlczyk, and I am the CEO of P&P Optica, or as we call it, PPO. We're very proud to be a Canadian company based in Ontario, and grateful to be a recipient of government funding to date from both Ontario and Canada through multiple programs like this one. Our technology could not have been developed and matured in the province without this support. Our focus of this company is to improve the safety and quality of products produced by food processing companies. Right now, we're focused mostly in meat processing plants, but we have also worked with many of the growers in Ontario. PPO automates inspection tasks for both quality, safety, and composition of our food. And we do this with a single system that allows inline, at line speed imaging of every piece of food that goes into our mouths and to be analyzed chemically. Manual inspection is often a very crowded part of a food production plant. PPO allows processors to redeploy their most scarce and most valuable resource, our people, to more important and safer jobs in other parts of the plant. Our technology is unique in using chemistry instead of visual cues or physical testing of products. So we can actually see quality and composition of food as it's being produced. We operate at line speeds in the plant. PPO smart imaging system uses a combination of sophisticated hardware, hyperspectral imaging, and software technologies, as well as artificial intelligence and machine learning. All of those technologies have been developed in Ontario with the support of our government and of our food producers throughout the province. We work with mid-size and large processors across Ontario, Canada, and the US. At this stage, I would really like to introduce a video of our system at work, which you can also see at the PPO YouTube channel. This video demonstrates how our systems operate in the plant. We're going to play one of them now, showing PPO's technology detecting materials like plastics, rubber, and bone on chicken. Thank you. If you'd like to learn more about PPO or reach out to us, you can find the website at ppo.ca. Thank you again, Minister Hardeman, and your team for the opportunity to share more about PPO today. We really appreciate the ability to talk with the province. I am now going to turn the call over to Quentin Woods, the chair of Holland Marsh Growers Association. Quentin?
Thank you for the introduction, Olga. Excellent technology and interesting video. My name is Quentin Woods, and I'm the chair of the Holland Marsh Growers Association. We are located just north of Toronto in the Holland Marsh. We represent 70 farming families, predominantly some of the largest root vegetable growers, as well as leafy green and cold crop growers in the Holland Marsh. First of all, we would like to thank Minister Hardeman for his support, the ministry and their support, and the Government of Ontario, not only for allowing us to provide our input on the road mapping, but also the tremendous investment of the $22 million into innovative and forthcoming technologies to introduce into not only our farms, but our packing plants in the region. Our growers and our processors are very excited at this opportunity for the cost share funding to make investments into our operations, to make us more innovative, to protect our workers in a COVID-19 environment. It's been very troubling environment to be working in this past year. And with this investment from OMAFRA and the Government of Ontario, we are hoping that it will make us safer work environments for our employees and allow us to invest in innovative technologies to make us stronger coming out of COVID. At this point in time, if anybody has any questions, please use your raise hand function. The questions or the floor is open to media for questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. I'll just remind folks that to find that button to raise your hand, it is at the bottom of your Zoom window. You may have to mouse over for that, for those icons to appear. And I would encourage anybody, if you've got questions for any of the panel members, please go ahead and ask them. So the first question I will take over to Diana Martin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Minister. I noticed that a lot of the funding is focused on maintaining the health and safety of workers, but in another way, it also helps, I guess, mitigate the number of people required for harvest or whatever happens. Is this in part to mitigate some of the situations that we're running into right now with temporary foreign workers being able to come in, distancing, things that might extend in a post-pandemic world?
I'm sorry, Minister Hardeman, unfortunately you are on mute. Thank you, apologies.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And obviously, since the pandemic began, one of the biggest challenges that we faced was the proximity of people working within the, particularly in the processing part, but in the whole vegetable industry, was the proximity. They had to work close together, so it divided. They had to do things slower, and they had to have the workers further apart. And obviously, as they were doing that, it became, the lines are running slower. It became less productive. So yes, they do work hand in glove. That what we've got to do is make sure that we become more efficient. We also, it requires the people that we couldn't find to work, the labor shortage will be alleviated because we will be able to, with technology, be able to become more efficient and effective in how we do the job.
Follow up?
And I guess the second stream, where it encourages innovation and development of new tech, is that focused on Ontario developed new tech, or is it open to, I guess, different provinces or international tech? Is it sort of hopeful that we start sparking homegrown tech?
Well, I think it's fair to say that we want to spark more tech. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we think that the industry here is very well equipped to create that tech. And I just want to put out some examples of some of the things that we could be looking at that are already somewhat available. It was just a few years ago, before COVID came along, I was at the farm show, and the University of Guelph had on display a robotic vegetable picker for the greenhouse. I think advancing that type of technology, there's other ones, automated transplanters for helping the reduce the need for workers we don't have, and so forth. Those are the type of things. In the bigger picture, I think the industry working together to come up with things that we can improve the whole industry. Our number one objective is to make sure that our workers are safe in the workplace. The second one is that we maintain or increase the productivity of the whole industry. And so we want to make sure that we don't restrict this just to producers individually making their own operation better. We want to make sure that we also invest resources in the industry collectively finding solutions for a lot of the challenges we face that we could be improving on with technology.
Thank you, Minister.
Please go ahead and ask your question.
Good morning. It's Karen Davidson, editor of The Grower. Perhaps Olga could address this question. The technology that you're proposing is hyperspectral imaging, which I understand works really well in processing situations. Are there any examples of your technology that could work in field situations, such as the Holland Marsh?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I have seen this type of technology being used for example, selecting produce and fruit ready for picking. We are working mostly with post-harvest food items, but even there, we can provide information about things like health of the produce selected. And for example, sweetness of carrots, or determine whether a potato has internal rot or something like that. It is there to assist people on the farm and also people packaging food. So, when you're considering safety of our workforce, all the way to packaging, there is a lot of human labor used currently, and any aspect that we can automate will help separate humans into people into appropriate distancing, and also improve efficiency of the food industry.
Follow up?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I don't see any further questions. So to that end, I will thank everyone for their participation today and wish you a great day. Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.